When Kylian Mbappe became PSG's top scorer for the first time, everyone started a debate. Is this the heir to Ronaldo and Messi? How many trophies is this career going to produce?
I think for a player like Mbappe, when you speak about the future, you don't need to say what is going Mbappe to be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. Just focus on now. I think in terms of his qualities, one word is enough. It's absolutely incredible.
Jose Mourinho spoke about Mbappe before he went on to become the top scorer for 3 consecutive seasons. Even at Real Madrid, his individual numbers continued to impress, but 0 trophies to show for any of it. Mourinho said those words 7 years ago. Now he's back at this club, and inherited exactly the player he called incredible. He even solved this problem before, took a winger who wasn't built to be a number 9, and turned him into one that is not only lethal, but winning titles consistently. But what else is going to change? And was Mourinho right about Mbappe? When Real Madrid signed Kylian Mbappe, they did focus on one thing: his goal-scoring ability. Mbappe recorded 31 goals in 34 La Liga games, won the Pichichi Trophy and the European Golden Shoe. He broke Alfredo Di Stefano's record for most La Liga goals in a debut season at Real Madrid, a record that had stood for 71 years. He also became the first player in history to finish as a top scorer in one of Europe's top 5 leagues in 7 consecutive seasons. 7 consecutive seasons. In the second season, 40 goals across 45 games, including 15 Champions League goals in 11 appearances. The most by a Real Madrid player since Cristiano Ronaldo, the first player ever to score 10 or more away goals in a single European campaign, 85 goals in 2 years for Madrid. For any other player, these are historic numbers. But here's the thing that everyone focuses on instead: the fact that he has 0 major trophies at Real Madrid. Year 1, runners-up in La Liga, runners-up in the Copa del Rey, runners-up in the Supercopa, a Champions League quarter-final exit. Year 2, knocked out of the Copa del Rey by a second division club, runners-up again in the Supercopa, another quarter-final exit in the Champions League, 9 points off Barcelona in La Liga. So the individual case is closed. Mbappe can score against anyone, in any competition, on any stage. That was never the argument, and Mourinho understood this. He called Mbappe incredible when everyone else was still waiting to see, and now he's the one who gets to fix the structure. Years before Madrid, Mbappe exploded at Monaco as a teenager and dragged them to a Liga 1 title. Won FIFA World Cup Best Young Player award after helping France win the World Cup. 6 league titles with PSG. Broke multiple records, and by the time he left PSG, he was Liga 1's all-time top scorer with 256 goals. At the 2026 World Cup, he cemented his legacy with 22 goals, the most in history. More than Pelé, more than Ronaldo, more than Messi. And when Mourinho was asked about a 20-year-old Mbappe, he told everyone to focus on now. He didn't hedge his talent on a bet. He didn't say if he stays healthy, or if he keeps developing, or any of the cautious language that protects reputations when predictions go wrong. Mourinho saw it coming. He saw that Mbappe wasn't a prospect who might become great. He was already great, and unlike the pundits who spent years questioning Mbappe's attitude, his defensive work rate, his positioning, Mourinho focused on what actually mattered: the quality, the output, the undeniable, generational, once-in-a-decade talent. That's what separates Mourinho from other analysts. He watches football with the eyes of someone who has built winning teams for 25 years. And when Mourinho watches Mbappe, he sees what he saw in another player at this same club 14 years ago: a winger who needed to become a striker. Jose Mourinho arrived at Real Madrid with a clear mission: break Barcelona's dominance, build a team that could compete with the greatest club side ever assembled, and turn Cristiano Ronaldo, already the most expensive player in history, into something even more dangerous. Before Ronaldo arrived from Manchester United, he was a winger, a left-sided forward who drifted inside, beat defenders with skill, and scored spectacular goals from distance. Already a Ballon d'Or winner, already scored 42 goals in a single season for United, already world-class. But Mourinho saw more than that. He didn't want Ronaldo floating around the pitch looking for the ball. He wanted Ronaldo in the box, central, making runs behind defenders, attacking crosses, becoming the focal point of every attack. And in 2011, in the Copa del Rey final, Mourinho made a bold choice. Mourinho deployed Ronaldo as a number 9 in the final against Barcelona, opting to do so because he didn't want him spending the game doing more defending than attacking by keeping tabs on Dani Alves at right back. And it worked spectacularly. Explaining why he did that, Mourinho just said, "Sometimes you have to move the pieces of the chess to try to create the best solution for the team." Mourinho was right, because in that game, Ronaldo scored this goal.
الهدف ما زال قائم والكرة خطيرة والرأسية والهدف الأول. الهدف ما زال قائم. 1-0 للدون. 1-0 للمجنون.
In that 2011-12 season, Ronaldo scored 46 La Liga goals. Real Madrid won the league with 100 points, a record that stood for years. They scored 121 goals, also a record. And Ronaldo didn't just score, he scored differently. More headers, more tap-ins, more clinical finishes in the 6-yard box, less dribbling past 3 defenders, and curling into the top corner. Mourinho didn't suppress Ronaldo's talent, he channeled it. He took everything that made Ronaldo special and put it in positions where it would hurt defenses most. The pace was still there, the power was still there, the big game mentality was still there. But now it was focused, structured, repeatable. That's the Mourinho blueprint. Take an elite winger, give him a new role. Build a system that maximizes his strengths while eliminating his weaknesses, and now he has another elite winger who needs the same transformation. Kylian Mbappe has spent 2 seasons at Real Madrid playing a position that doesn't suit him. On paper, he's listed as a centre forward, but on the pitch, he operates like a left winger. He drifts wide, he picks up the ball in the half spaces, he runs at defenders from deep. That's not a criticism, that's his natural game. That's what made him Liga 1's greatest ever scorer. That's what made him a World Cup champion at 19. But at Real Madrid, with Vinicius Jr. owning the left flank, it creates a problem. 2 players want the same space, the system bends, the structure breaks. Previous managers tried to solve this by asking Mbappe to stay central, to play as a true 9, to make the runs, hold the line, occupy centre-backs. It didn't work, because Mbappe had never been taught how to play that role. Until now. Mourinho has done this before. He took Ronaldo and turned him into the most lethal striker in Europe. The same Ronaldo who later said, "Mourinho was the manager who taught me the most tactically. He helped me evolve as a player." Now Mourinho has Mbappe, a player with the same raw materials, the same pace, the same finishing ability, the same hunger to be the best, but also the same gap in his game, the same need to learn a new position, the same need for a manager who knows how to teach it. And Mourinho has something else working in his favour, a squad rebuilt around structure. Cucurella at left back, a World Cup winner who defends as hard as he attacks. Dumfries at right back, a player who terrorised Barcelona in last season's Champions League semi-final. Konate at centre-back, a dominant defender who has won everything in England. Bernardo Silva in midfield, a player who presses like his life depends on it. This isn't a team asking Mbappe to carry them. This is a team built to balance while Mbappe provides the finishing. That's the difference. That's what every previous manager missed. Mbappe doesn't need to do everything. He just needs to do what he does best, in the right position, inside the right system, under the right manager. The talent was never in question. The attitude was never the real problem. It's about finding a manager who could channel all that ability into something that wins trophies. At PSG, the structure bent around Mbappe. At Real Madrid, under Ancelotti and Alonso, the system bent again. Every manager tried to accommodate him rather than optimize him. Mourinho has done this kind of rebuild differently. He took Drogba from a struggling striker at Marseille and turned him into one of the most feared forwards in Europe. He took Ozil and gave him the best seasons of his career. He took Hazard and won a Premier League title. And he took Ronaldo, a winger, and turned him into a striker. Now he has Mbappe, 27 years old, in his absolute prime, the World Cup all-time top scorer. And for the first time in his career, Mbappe has a manager who knows exactly what he needs. Not more freedom, more structure. Not accommodation, optimization, a system that elevates him to the next level, winning titles. The goals will still come, they always do. Mbappe isn't going to suddenly score less because his role changes. If anything, history says the opposite. Ronaldo's move inside didn't slow him down, it accelerated him, because he stopped wasting energy on runs that led nowhere and started making the ones that ended in the net. The difference now is what happens around the goals, a back line that holds its shape, a midfield that wins the ball back before it becomes a problem, a manager who has already proven at this exact club that he knows how to turn a brilliant individual into the center of a team that wins the games that matter. That's the difference between 2 years of nothing and what comes next. Back in 2019, Jose Mourinho watched a 20-year-old Mbappe and said one word: incredible. He wasn't guessing, he wasn't recognizing a shape he already knew how to use. And with these new signings, Real Madrid are looking a more balanced team today. Check out this video, because when Mbappe joined, this was the biggest debate in town. Or this one, and I'll see you there.